2020 F-550 here, doing the dually, doing the rear brakes and park assembly and everything. Thought I'd make a video since one of the ones I could find was just the rotor replacement. Those are practically the same on all dualies. Anyway, this side's been replaced. I got it all brand new and everything ready to go. And we start with the calipers, 15 mil head, 21 mil head. Unbolt those, get that out of the way, hang the caliper up there with a zip tie. Gives you access to this. 15 mil heads, unbolt that, slide the axle shaft right out. It should pop right out unless you got something going on inside the diff. And from there, got the other side torn apart. I'll show you what you need. And this axle hub, that's the size. That's what the axle nut looks like. Once you get that off, you pull this inner bearing out. That'll give you access to get that out off there. Now this one was pretty bad. I said it's a salt truck, so it was all rusted in there. I took this crowbar, pried from here onto the rotor, just loosen it up, and just work it back and forth until the seal pops off here and the park brake assembly either snaps or comes off. This one it didn't matter because it was all rusted and broken anyway. These anchor pins were actually busted on it, so yeah, it needed to be replaced. So there isn't really a good trick as to how you do these, at least getting this assembly all apart and on there. Also this and these two pieces, they actuate onto each other, so if you don't have to remove these and you can free these up in place, I highly recommend it. If not, it's not a big deal, you can still get them out. I'll show you what they look like on the inside. This is what I did. This is actually when me putting it back together. I should take that off now, but anyway. That's what it looks like. The anchor, the park brake actuator, it slides in a hole through here. So when you gotta take it apart, I found it was easier to actually go inside the truck, push the park brake pedal down like maybe 2 inches, not that far. It just allows this piece to move back a little bit. That allows you to take this piece, which is that, and you kind of slide it out of there because it kind of hooks in there. So once you get that off and free and assembled, you got to put it back in. You kind of see how I did it. Once you kind of get it back, it's sort of a reverse procedure as putting it back in. And I recommend putting a vice grip on the back side of there to kind of hold it in place, because it likes to pop back out when you're trying to put these shoes back on, because there is no real trick to get these on. You kind of just have to manhandle your way to get it back on. At least I did. So what I did to start is you have to get this one in there at the beginning, this big spring. You get that started in there, leave the hooks, park brake assembly. Like you put this hook in, and you got to take the 2 pieces. You start this side first, get this slid in, pop it in there. This will be all wonky and just, there's no real trick to this. It's a bit of a nightmare. So you start with this side. Once you get that side in there, you can kind of manhandle your way to that. And I found it was easier to take something like this, try not to bend this, and you just kind of put it right there, and you get a little more leverage, and you can kind of push your way. You got to swing it around and hook it onto this piece. And once you got this assembled, like that piece, it's gravy after that. Then you put these anchors in, which are pretty straightforward. It slides in from the back. These ones are actually kind of nice. They remanufacture these, so you can just slide them in, and you're good to go. And yeah, you can get this spring and adjusters goes up in there. Like I said, it's all pretty straightforward after that. Use the grease inside of there. Spin this all the way up. So you're at basically max travel as far as the backing off of it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the hard part, is getting that in there. I just thought I'd make a video since nobody else had a video of it. is the rotors. There's lots of videos on how to do that on YouTube, I noticed, but I'll show you the socket size and what you need. E18. Bust that loose, hammer the old rotor off, and try and bust off the rust that's on the inside of this, because it just makes it easier. When you put this rotor on, it should spin on the hub like it should. You shouldn't have to hammer this rotor on, unless you don't know if it's sitting true or not. I used blue Loctite on that, and just 3 or 4 nugget dug is good enough. And that's that assembly. That's the park brake assembly. If you've done dualies before, you can kind of figure it out from there. There's lots of videos on how to do the rotors after this. But yeah, there's a quick breakdown on how to do the park brake shoes on an F-550 2020.